for men who refuse to stay complacent. Welcome to the Upgraded Man podcast with your host, Chris Anderson.
Welcome back to another recording of the Upgraded Man. I am Chris Anderson, your host. I'm along on this journey with you. Upgraded Man is not a destination. It is a journey, and we're not done until we're dead. So today we're excited. We're going to be talking about, death to the nice guy. We're going to kind of dive into that, and I'm excited. So we brought on someone who speaks to this and talks about this constantly, an expert in died to the nice guy. He's got a great story. Paul Roseberry, excuse me. I added an extra letter there in your last name. So welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it. This couldn't be a better topic to dive into.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is I'm pumped actually to work on this because I'm working on a book and a stand-up comedy special.
Okay.
Both called Men, A Gift to Women.
Nice. I like it. That's going to be a good one.
I can't wait.
I'm going to have to get that book and send it to my wife. Just kidding.
Hey, well, dude, this is the thing, man, because exactly. I've been a relationship coach for over 10 years, and we can get into that a little, but, or a lot. But the reason that I work with nice guys, that's who I work with. That's my bread and butter. Generally the guys who are cocky and they think they know it all, and they're not coming to me because they think they got it all figured out.
Sure. Even
if they are clearly struggling and just, drowning.
Right.
Good for them. Until you're ready. I only want to work with guys who are coming from a great place. And then from there, it's not even necessarily death to the nice guy. I like to say. And I'm sure, it's more of like a chrysalis phase, where we show you how to protect your value.
Right. Because you say the nice guy has to always lose, right? So, and a lot of guys are going to hear that, especially nice ones, and they might get a little frustrated with that. Like the nice guy has to lose because we've always heard it, right? Nice guys finish last.
Yeah.
So why is that? Why does the nice guy actually have to lose? We can dive in right there.
He's too accommodating, and it's a turnoff.
Okay.
It's what I work on what I call the security method. So I believe that the greatest requirement, and I sometimes I take the emotion out of it and I just make it sound kind of sterile. If a man wants to get in a relationship with a woman, he's applying for a job in a sense. If you look at it, brass tacks, because you're both looking to create a team. So your role, whether you realize it or not, is security.
Yep.
Step one. And my little tagline with that is security. It isn't everything, but without it, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And so I help guys to understand what it means to provide security. So some of it's obvious. We see the cursory means of security: money, muscles, like a house. Sure, those are forms of security. Literally, money is securities, in the financial world. But the real security, the root of security, is I define it as the ability to protect that which has value.
Yeah.
That's security.
Okay.
That's what every woman wants from a man.
So let's step back. What is define a nice guy then? Who, it sounds like a nice guy doesn't provide that security. So let's define what a nice guy is.
A nice guy is a guy who believes he's well-intended. And there is an asterisk with believe, but again, we're not trying to crucify the nice guy. We're on the nice guy's team. Okay. But to show the reason it's a problem. So a nice guy is a guy who he's like, hey, I want to buy you flowers. I want to hold the door. I want to take you to dinner. I want to. Yes. Yeah. Everything's a yes. I want to make you happy. Sounds great. Right?
Yep.
At a glance. But if you're just a series of yeses and there are no nos, doesn't that get a little weird anywhere?
Right.
You know what I mean? You're going to buy a car. It's all yeses and there's no, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
something's not right here. This thing isn't going to work. You know,
Yeah.
like and so what I find is that men, the greatest problem is guys without knowing it, because I've never met a guy who knew he was doing this while he was doing it. But you get in a relationship to solve a problem of your own.
Yeah.
You're fulfilling a need. And it seems genuine. You're like, no, I don't even see that because I just want to please this woman. I have genuine intentions. I want her to be happy. I'm not going to do anything bad. I'm not going to cheat on her. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I'm a good dude. But you're this accommodating because you don't want to be single anymore. You feel probably, and again, if we're getting into the nitty gritty, a lot of dudes who feel like they're like a 6 think if they could just date a 9, they'd be a 9. And you see where that gap of problem arrives?
Yeah.
If you make me feel better about myself, then I need you.
So should we not need our partners?
That is a definition of a successful relationship. A relationship which is held together by the bond of interest and not need.
Yeah. I've had a conversation with my wife like that. Like, because I've gotten to the point where I'm probably a little too blunt sometimes. But I'm like, I love you too much just to say yes. And like we've had early on, and I think it's been good for us, that conversation of like, I don't need you. Like
perfect.
I'm good. I want to be in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a difference. Like, and so we worked through, like, it's been great. Like communication improved, all that, everything improves from it. But just having those moments of like, all right, this is where we're at. Like if you go away, like, yes, it will absolutely suck. It will be terrible. Like, I don't want that in any shape or form, however it happened, but like, I would be okay. And I would pray that you would be okay too, and not completely just go down the deep end, right?
Sure.
Like you don't need me. I just want you to, want me, kind of thing.
Perfect. Man, perfect. That is exactly, if more guys could understand that and not only just understand it, mean it.
Right.
Then we would have a greater population rate.
Yeah.
A greater population replacement rate globally. I really believe that because, see, when you just said what you said, your wife heard you say, oh, I can be honest with you.
Yeah.
If you ask me if I want to do something or not, I can tell you the truth.
Yeah. Yep.
And then when I'm truthful with you all the time, within, within margin of reason, I can tell you what I got for your birthday. Who cares? Whatever. Sure. Then nothing builds up. Yep. I can be in a relationship with you. Guys are not, when guys can't say no, I say the sexiest word in the English language is the word no.
Right.
Because it's truth.
Yep.
If a guy says yes all the time, oh, I love to go to that restaurant that you always pick. I love to go to that movie that you always pick. I love to go to that thing, that event, that same vacation spot, whatever. I love doing whatever you love to do all the time. That's bizarre. Now I don't trust you. Why are you saying that? If you say that's going to boil up. At some point, you're going to snap and go, oh my God, I've been lying to both of us for 6 months, for 6 years, for our entire kids' lives. And I can't do it another day. And she's going to go, all this about a Mexican restaurant? Where is this coming from? What the hell? What are you talking about?
No bueno.
No bueno. And you're going to sound crazy because you've got this built up stockpile of distance from yourself. And it will come out. It will, or even worse, it'll just lead to a deadened relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes goes on infinitely, and it's, you've seen it.
Yeah. And like relationships are hard, like absolutely. And that's good. We had it's two imperfect people coming together, right? We're trying to live together, and we all have our baggage, we all have our shortcomings, and like that's where we were headed. Like we were not in a good spot, and because I would just keep everything in and wouldn't want to talk about anything, and she wants to talk about everything, and it got to the point where, I had to realize like there's only two paths: either healthy, cohabitation, living together, and enjoy it, or probably not going to last. And so having those conversations of I don't need you, but I want to be together.
Yeah.
And you don't complete me. I'm not looking for you to complete me. I just want you to compliment me. Like, and again, I'm not saying this to make it sound like it was easy, because it wasn't. Like I hated having those conversations. I was nervous. I was anxious about it. But like it made things like level playing field. Let's now structure it even better. We were good in these areas. Now here's knowing all this stuff, how we can keep improving, and doing it in a way where she understood, like, I still see you, I still value you. And we just need to help each other. And there's no, you're not going to fill the pieces of me how I need you to. Just support me in those ways. And just being open about the communication again is so crucial. Completely changed our trajectory and really made things so much better.
Dude, I literally, you are the pinnacle of where I want to see more guys get to.
Yeah, sure.
And you made a little allusion to it there that, yeah, this wasn't like an overnight. You weren't born probably
Right.
thinking this way. There had to be some struggle to figure out why to focus in this way. Because until there's a problem, you're just cruising. You're like, everything's great, Yeah. What, how long have you and your wife been together?
10 years this summer. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah.
And how long into it would you say you came to this sort of clarity and conversation with her?
Yeah. We had that conversation a couple of years ago. Yeah. So not super long ago, but like it's crazy. Like the night and day difference. Like I saw myself just internalizing everything.
Yeah.
And it was just eating away at me. And I was trying to figure it out. I was putting blame on her instead of like trying to fix where I was. And it got to a breaking point. I was like, I don't know where we're going in a relationship wise. Had really, really low valleys in those moments. And then I was like, I just have to tell her, like this, I just, put it out there, have those conversations. And then, thankfully, she listened, she understood from my perspective, and we were able to start building even better off of what we already had that was good.
Yeah.
And a lot of the quote unquote negative or places that were frustrating me weren't really that big a deal once we could communicate things through, which was crazy. Of course, that's how it kind of always goes. We make a bigger deal out of what's really not that big a deal.
Well, because it becomes cumulative.
Yeah.
And if behind some of these things, I think respect is a big word. It's a huge critical factor of relationship. It's very much an underpinning, of what keeps it going. And what I find is that if a guy if he never says no,
right,
then the woman's going to go, wait a minute. So there's no way you really agree with me every time. So if you claim to agree with me every time, then it's because you're not really in a relationship with me. You need me to solve a problem of your own.
Right.
So that's when you get into terms like objectifying women, but it doesn't seem like it because you're not like making comments at work about a girl's body or something,
right,
but you are objectifying. You're using her as an object to solve a problem of your own. And it's going to click to her. She's going to, wait a minute. If the primary use of being with me is to solve a problem of your own, then you don't know me. You're not with me for me, which means, and this is where it gets into security, I'm replaceable.
Right.
Anyone else who can solve the problem that I solve for you, if that's the highest use of our relationship, makes me replaceable to anyone else who can do that. So if it's just looks, if you're insecure and you think being with a hot girl makes you stand taller, women live in the real world when it comes to looks, man. Women will tell you, you can find the hottest girl you've ever met, and she'll still tell you, there's 4 girls as hot as me on my block. Even if it's not true, they just think that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So if a girl's like, if it clicks to her, wait a minute, you're with me kind of like, just like if it were about money. You know what I mean? Like think about, we usually refer to women as gold diggers. Socially, guys can do it too. And so if it puts to a girl, wait a minute, you're just with me because you like that I have money and I can, then again, anyone with money can replace you. Anyone.
Right.
And so that's where the resentment comes in. And what I find where the big predicament we've gotten into, I mean, we've all heard the term a Karen, it's been around a few years.
Right.
Karen's a maxed out woman who's just snapping off at all times. She's redlining. Mm. What I find is that when a woman realizes, oh, I'm being used, she has two options. If she's in a healthy, great mindset and lifestyle, then she can go, I'm out.
Yeah.
This is junk. You know what I mean? Like, I just realized what's going on. Wish I realized sooner. I'm out of here. But if she goes, we already have kids, or we've got this mortgage, this lifestyle, and she just straight up says, I don't want to be single either. I don't want to start over. I don't feel great about myself. Maybe that's how this started. Maybe I've been not wanting to see this. I knew it was going on. I didn't want to look at it because I don't feel that valuable either. So she might say, all right, we'll keep it going.
Yeah.
But now that I realize what's going on, I have the clearest mind. So I'm actually in charge. Mm-hmm. And so now the woman becomes, for lack of better terms, she becomes the man and the woman because she's the provider of security. She understands who needs what. And she says, you know what? I instead of leaving, I know what your need is so I can control you, which means I can know where you are. And that is my means of providing my own safety. If I can control you, then I can keep you from hurting me and I can keep you from leaving, which doesn't give me a partner at all. No. But it does mitigate further damage. And there's a strange element of safety in that. So she says, you know what? All right. And that's when the man goes from an asset to a liability, and he goes from a partner to another child. And I've seen women treat their husbands like a kid that they're sick of. Yeah. You've probably seen it.
Oh yeah.
And instead of support, I think you use that word in an amazing, context. Instead, it's actually, I guess they would have called it negging back in the days of the game or whatever, like she's constantly sort of browbeating this guy into a very manageable, controllable position for her. And he's still having his need met just by being with her. Maybe he doesn't want to tell his parents he's single again. Maybe he doesn't want to be in his 30s, divorced. Maybe he does, whatever.
Right.
And I see this, maybe you do too, like daily.
Yeah.
It destroys me. So I don't mean to run the board there for a minute.
No, this is great. No, and I think that's so it's so important to think on that and see that because it can come from both sides. But if a guy's listening to this right now and he's like, man, yeah, you're right. I'm the nice guy. I just kind of say yes to everything. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Happy wife, happy life kind of thing.
Dude.
So talk to that guy right now who's like, oh shoot. Yeah, that's me. I'm the nice guy. I'm not supporting her and having the security. What would you say to him right now so he could start building more security? Because that'd be a big shift. From a nice guy to telling her no.
She will thank you. The thing you're afraid of doing is the thing she needs you to do. That's the shift. That's the paradigm shift right there. The thing you are afraid to do, because you don't say no because you're afraid of rocking the boat. Right. You don't want this to end. And when you don't want this to end you don't realize it, it's at any cost, man. It's at any cost. Yeah. If we're talking to this guy right now, he didn't know the cost. He didn't draw a line in the sand ever. And wherever he wished he had originally drawn the line, dude, it was a mile back that way. And he's off balance. He's on his heels and he's afraid to say no because he thinks it'll end things. Right. Wrong. It's the opposite. If you would say no, she could relax and then she could respect you, because part of the reason people get into relationships is for, honestly, psychological balance. Life is
Yep.
impossible, man. Life is hard. It's full of stress. We're hairless apes. If we don't breathe for 5 minutes, we're dead. If we don't drink water for 2 days, we're dead. It's a constant effort to stay alive. Beyond that, to thrive. So it's maddening to do it alone.
Yeah.
And you need a partner who can tell you, hey, I love you. You're awesome in so many ways. That thing today, that was a bad idea. That's not going to work for you. You won't enjoy your life if you continue acting that way. I wouldn't imagine. And I don't want to be with someone who behaves that way. That was a lot. And we should talk about that. But I would hope you would agree, now that you've got your breath, that was bad. That was no way to live. And you need someone to do it. Like, dude, I've had road rage, where I'm snapping off and just want to absolutely throw down to some stranger who could shoot me in the head, And then my wife later on is like, hey, no. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because that's a big shift, right? I mean, if a woman is leading, quote unquote, she's wearing the pants kind of thing.
Yes.
How do you shift that without, because there's going to be more friction now because she's so used to doing that, doing it in a way that's not going to just cause, complete brawls or fights, verbally or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you ease into that? So she can understand you're trying to lead without still being the nice guy about it.
That's a great point. Because you don't want to do it over. You don't want to do it, just like that,
right.
like hot water in a cold glass, dude. That thing will shatter, or maybe it's cold water in a hot glass. I think you can't do it shatter. But there's a line that I used one day. It wasn't a line, but it stuck with me because my wife really liked it. I told her, we don't treat each other that way. That was it. That was the line, because it wasn't me saying, hey, listen, you're wrong, you're stupid, whatever, no. It wasn't me saying, hey, whatever I don't like that you just did, I'm going to do whenever. No. It's all about we, not I and you. Even in sales, I've sold everything under the sun. In sales, I always say, use as many we and us as you can, not a you and me, because you and me creates distance. Us, we, together, we don't treat each other that way. Now you're creating a common ground where it's mutual. It's not to one advantage or the other, or one to look down on the other. It's we don't treat each other that way. And when you do it, it will, if it's been built up, say if this has been going on for 5 years, it's probably not going to change in an afternoon. It'll begin. Right. It could begin in an afternoon, and that'll be a great day. It's like the first time you work out when you're out of shape. You're going to feel awesome. Are you going to be ripped? Hell no. But are you going to feel like, oh, that's it. That's what we've been missing. I'm sore. I'm hungry. I'm going to sleep well. So just be comfortable with it being a little bit of a gradual process. But, I do like to mention part of where this comes from. When I talk about us being hairless apes, I believe on some cellular level, men and women have certain trajectories.
Okay.
Basically, biologically, a woman is born knowing, not consciously, she's probably going to have kids at some point. Maybe not, maybe she won't choose to, or biologically she can't, whatever. But 99, that's the trend of our body's plan. So the woman then, when she selects a guy, the reason, big part of it being security, she goes, okay, I'm going to be pregnant for 9 months, maybe a few times. I'm going to be pretty vulnerable 6 of those months. I can't fight the lion.
Right.
Maybe you can't fight a lion already, but you know what I mean? I'm going to need a hand. And she's going to look at you to say, okay, when I'm vulnerable, can you protect us both? And there will be a little bit of testing. I've spoken with a lot of women about this. It's ideal when it's not noticeable. It's best when a woman can just observe it in you. But she's looking to see, are you strong enough to defend both of you during those times? Is that always? No. Do you need her to be able to take the wheel at times too? Yeah. But she's got to know that you have at least as much strength as she does.
Yeah.
And sometimes enough for both. And that's where that no comes in. If you never say no, then she goes, I've never seen you take the wheel. I don't know how you drive. I can't trust you. I've never seen you in action. But if you start using those no's subtly and just say, hey, you know what? God, we go to the same place all the time. You know what I really want to do? I want to try this other place. And she's like, no, but I like to sit there. And you go, yeah, that's great. And we'll go there next week. There's this new place. We're going to love it. Let's do that.
Yep.
And then she's going to go, okay, look at you coming up with new ideas. Look at you taking the wheel from it. And it's going to be hot because you're taking stress off from her plate. She's used to defending the whole thing. She's used to having to make every decision if things have gotten to that place. Sure. So she's not going to let it all go willingly because you said one cool thing, but chip away at it. And she goes, I can trust you with that.
Yeah.
I can trust you with it. And it's the trust that you're looking to build. And as you do it, then she can start to relax. And that's when you have an amazing relationship. When your girl knows she can relax because you're in charge, when it's your time to be in charge, lights out,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a great position to be like understanding if you're in that spot and then being able to like start to implement taking back a little bit more control and doing those things. But I think a lot of times too, for guys, and we don't want to maybe discuss it or talk about it, but it starts within us, right? Things that we've been through, things that have happened in our past that we haven't healed or just come to terms with to understand like, oh, I shy away from that because of, X, Y, and Z, whatever it was going in our past. And, I know you have a story of, as a kid, it's caused you to kind of go through this process too, right? And things you had to heal and grow through.
A million things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Good, without getting into the whole thing, I know time's a factor, but I grew up super awkward. I was fat. We were poor. I get picked on a lot in school. I was vegetarian when kids didn't know what that was, so I got made fun of for that. And I stuttered. So and even though it's cool to be tall, I was like freakishly tall, so it's just another reason I stood out. But so the nice guy, he wants to get away from that. He wants those things to go away. He wants to get away from the bully. You know what I mean? He wants to create this comfortable space, this Garden of Eden sort of place where everything's just great. But here's the thing, if you think about it, any country you've ever enjoyed visiting that you felt, man, they have a good way of life. Like this is good what they have. Life is hard and you are battling the elements, but man, this society has a lot of good. The United States, I think it's a great country. Are we perfect? No, but people fight to get here because it's really good. There is a certain greatness to this this lifestyle. But think about it. Why is it possible for any country who has a good lifestyle to maintain that? They have the strongest military around. Yeah. And that's not getting political. It's just saying, look, man, if you have $1 million in cash, are you going to leave it on your front porch? No, someone will take it. You know what I mean? So if you go out in the world just being like, I'm a nice guy and I'm just so happy to be nice. Well, someone's going to ruin that for you. Like someone's going to take it away for no good reason and no reason that even makes sense to a nice guy. So the way that a nice guy can maintain being nice is by understanding his strength. That's how. You've got to be able to have some armor. You've got to have some bone to your muscle. You've got to know how to protect your value. And that's when women really get attracted. Because if a guy goes, you're not saying no. And just to be very clear, because sometimes if you've built up enough frustration, guys can get, try to keep it clean words, but snippy.
Sure.
You don't want to do any of this out of spite. You don't want to seem, that's the worst. You're going 100% in the wrong direction. You want to do it because you're reclaiming this relationship with the other person is reflective of the relationship with yourself, which is something that you feel comfortable protecting for yourself. If you get into that relationship and you feel this doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel good. And be honest with yourself. That's when you got to put the needs aside and just say, do I enjoy being around this person? Do I get excited to see this? Or do I find reasons to avoid that person? Do I find reasons to be in the other room when I'm home? Do I find reasons to stay at work longer? Do I find reasons to take work trips just so I can be away? That's not a person who you enjoy.
Right.
And so you've got to be able to draw the line and just say, hey, when something doesn't feel right, that's when you talk about it. And it's got to be with yourself as well. You know, if you're getting hammered in your own lifestyle, you got to, hey, let's start with feeling good and then protect that. And when your girl sees you can protect that, then it's little stuff. Then she wants you to do that for her. Because women, dude, they have the same struggles, but even socially, maybe, and I'm not blaming society, but I think it's a little harder for them sometimes to speak up about certain things. But if they know, you'll go, hey, seems like your parents are kind of riding you. Boom. And you step in, you go, why don't you say that? Well, because I'm afraid. Yeah, well, I will. Hey, that stuff that just went on, we're done. That doesn't happen in our home.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the man.
Right. It's like the quote I heard. I don't remember who came up with this, where I heard it, but it was, I'll be a kind person. I'll be a kind guy, but I'm not going to be a nice one. And the difference between kind and nice, they went on to basically, nice is what we're talking about. Yes, man, kind of get shoved around, pushed around kind of thing. Where a kind person, you respect people, you do the right things. But if someone steps in the ring to test you or crosses a boundary, a guardrail or something like that, you're not going to be very, very soft with them kind of thing. And knowing that delineation, I think that's a crucial thing to remember is, you can be kind, but you don't have to be nice all the time.
Dude, I think it was Teddy Roosevelt who said, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah.
Done. Hey, we all like to speak softly. No one wants to be the loudest guy at the bar. No one likes to be the or like you always say, the guy who's yelling the most before a fight is probably the one who's not going to win. You don't even want to get to the fight. You want to speak softly, but have there be a subtle understanding of, that guy is going to say no when he needs to say no, or he'll walk.
Yep.
Keep that stick,
right. Yeah.
And think about it, like when it's time to be firm. And I mean, like, think about the implications, the duality, the innuendo here. But like, a woman wants to know that a man can be hard when it's time to be hard. You know what I mean? And we want to be able to allow a woman to be soft. If that, when she wants to be soft, she's got to know we have it in us. So yeah. And I think Jordan Peterson, I don't know where he got it. I mean, he's not my favorite guy, but he said a few things. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yes.
I
love, that's one of my favorite quotes. And that's been kind of on the show the last handful of episodes. I feel like I've said it or it's been brought up. And I love that quote so much.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to, like a war, ready to battle, right? Ready to fight, ready to kill, ready to take out what is needed. But to be a gardener, like we have a garden, we have flowers I take care of. Like you have to be a little gentle or you're going to trample on stuff and kill them. And you can't just be tearing everything out because it'll rip other plants up with it when you're weeding. And so, yeah, I love that quote. And I think it's so true on kind of what you do and as an upgraded man as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, when you break down too, I never realized growing up, we heard the term hunter-gatherer from back in our lineage. I didn't realize, I thought people were hunters and gatherers. I didn't realize it was men were hunters, women were gatherers. And I actually started to wonder, I said, I said, is the reason women like to cook more than men? Is there do they have better taste buds? They do. I looked it up. I researched it. They actually have a wider spectrum of flavor, palatability. And if you think about it, if a woman's out picking mushrooms and one will kill you and one will be, good for your diet, you've got to be able to have that palate and go, okay, that's good. That's not. Whereas a man is like, did I kill it? Or did I not? Do I have this antelope in my hand? I'll let the wife test it, taste it to see if it's still good day 3. It's my job to get it. I don't, how does it feel like meat when I chew it?
Right.
we don't have that. So I think it's very important for men and women to exercise their greatest talents and skills each. Men are physically larger. Women have a greater palate. It's a trade-off. This is why we come together. And, one of my favorite lines that I always feel funny saying, because it's like it's my line, but I'd rather be a whole half than half whole. And meaning when we come together, I want to be a whole man meeting with a whole woman.
Yep.
Instead of half a man meeting with half a woman, and we hope for the best. And really, it's like a broken stool leaning. Hang on one second. Yep. Yeah, man, dude, you're a fun guy to chat with.
Thanks.
It's not often you meet guys who have done it.
I got you. Yeah, that's one thing. Like I see it, and I try to do the hard thing sometimes to make it better. But well, cool. Well, yeah, I can.
And
so you just have being a whole half versus a half whole.
That's it, man.
Okay.
And it's, I don't mean to be hyperbolous here. I don't mean to make it seem like, just figure out everything in your life and be perfect and
Right.
and have mastered being a human. And then you can go meet someone who's also perfect. No, like,
Right.
it just means, kind of as you were saying, understand the difference between what you need to grow for yourself, how to serve yourself in those ways, and not spill that onto someone else to carry you. We all got to lean once in a while, but like put the, take that for yourself and know how to keep a little bit of whatever mess, it's really not a mess, but yeah,
I think it's the whole thing's a journey, right? The same with the Upgrade Man. Like it's a journey. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it's not a destination. And I think even this, like it's a journey to know yourself better and to understand yourself and what makes you tick, so you can show up in a more healthy state and have the communication to build a better relationship with your spouse. And this has been a great conversation. I've enjoyed it. Been a lot of fun. And I think, it gets people in the right direction. Guys, listen to this on stop being nice. Stop being the nice guy. You can be kind. You can kind of put your foot down somewhat or lead a little bit better. And some good ways to create security. So I'm super happy to have you on and have this conversation. And as we're wrapping up, we do here on the show a journal entry. And so the guest before you left something for you to think on. And then I'll ask you at the end, what would you like to leave for the next guest to respond to? And that can be a question, a comment, or a quote.
Sure.
And this is just kind of how we wind things down, and hopefully this will be an actual physical journal for guys to use and grow with. But so Ralph Brewer was our last guest on the show, and he also works with relationships and things like that with couples. And his question for you is, what have you done for yourself today?
This podcast.
There you go. Oh, it's for you. All right.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Absolutely, man. I'm really trying to make it a hard push to make what this conversation is about the primary pastime of my life. Obviously family has its own place, but as far as the driving use of my working hours, I really want it to be this. And conversations with guys like you, this is exactly how, that programming works. You got to really keep the wheels turning. You got to have it coming out of you. You got to take in new information on that topic until it just, you don't have time for anything else. This is just what you're doing. So I appreciate you having me, man. This is exactly how I like to spend my time.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here. So with that said, what would you like to leave for our next guest to think on or answer, whether it be a quote, comment, or a question?
What is a no that you need that would, if you started saying it, would make your life feel better?
What is a no that if you started saying would make your life better?
Yeah.
I love it.
What's something that's time for you to say no to?
Yep.
That would make you and your life a happier place for you. Yeah.
I love that.
We all have a no.
Yeah, I know. What do you need to say no to now? But I'm excited to hear what our next guest will say and answer that question. So, everybody tune in, follow the show if you haven't already, so you can get that answer. But Paul, again, this has been a great episode. Thank you again so much for being on the Upgraded Man podcast. Where can people connect with you if they need your help?
Sure. People can reach me at my website, paulroseberry.com. Spelled like it sounds, like blueberry. It's Roseberry, Roseberry. You can message me, Paul at paulroseberry.com. I offer a free 20-minute chat with anyone who's interested in coaching or any sort of working together, because we got to make sure that we're headed in the right direction. And I want to know what your goals are. I can share with you how I work and how we could work together. Or if you just got a one-off question, hey, I like this. I like this, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just happy to provide opportunity for people to have happier lives. It sounds cheesy, but specifically in the relationship realm, that's my arena. And I'm happy to help those who are looking for it. So yeah, anyone can reach out anytime.
Awesome. And yeah, make sure you reach out with them, get connected with them. Everyone listen, continue to learn from them. And as you can see, excuse me, as you can see, he's got his little one with him, and that's part of the journey, right? We got to, make it work, and we can do it together. We can build this with our kids. We can grow with our kids watching. And it's a beautiful thing about it, and not having to edit it out or separate it. So that's just a testament to what we can do as we upgrade our lives. So again, thank you so much for being on the show. Everyone, make sure you follow, share this with someone who can help. We can do so much more together, and we'll talk to you again next time.